Jeff's Superscript is brought to you by Black Cat Comics and Collectibles, in my opinion, the best comic shop and clubhouse on the internet. Make sure to follow them at Black Cat Burbank on Instagram and ask them about their Stray Cats Club for special perks. Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either September 7th or 8th, 2021. And I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? Let's go ahead and get right into the content of this video. First, by taking a look back at my pick from 4 weeks ago, which I mentioned in my last week's video. I kind of missed talking about 2 weeks ago, but let's go ahead and take care of that right now. My pick from 4 weeks ago was Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures, The Monster of Temple Peak, issue number 1. Question remains, was it a worthy and worthwhile pick to be my just one book pick of the week? And the answer is yes, absolutely. Man, I know a lot of people are sleeping on these Star Wars High Republic Adventures books because they are all ages and they think, it's not Marvel, I don't care. But that Disney logo is still on that cover, and as long as you see that Disney logo, you should care. And this one is one you should absolutely have cared about. This character, this main character, I believe her name is Ty, is really cool looking. I mean, just look at this cover right here. She's got a great look. She's got a great lightsaber. She is a former Jedi turned monster hunter who is really, really cool. And the story was fun. The story was entertaining. She's cool. She's entertaining. I want to see more from this character on a personal level. So if I'm responding this positively to this character right out the gate, I have a feeling other people will as well, and that there may be a future for this character beyond this limited series, which I believe is only 4 issues, comic book. So I hope you picked it up. If you didn't pick it up, if you see it on the shelf somewhere, just do yourself a favor, grab it. I bet you're going to enjoy it if you read it, and in the worst case scenario, slip it into the PC and wait 15, 20 years or something like that and see what happens, because I have a strong feeling we'll see more from this character in some way, shape, or form in the future. All right, let's move forward with the books that come out this week. First, I'll take a look at my 5 honorable mentions, and then I will move on to my just one book pick of this week. To kick off my 5 honorable mentions, we are going to return with another installment of Tynan Time. Yes, it is Tynan Time, featuring my new best friend, James Tynan IV. Yes, indeed, this is a picture of me and James Tynan IV. This was taken last night. I met him last night at Things from Another World, the comic book shop, the location at Universal City Walk. And he is as nice of a person as he is talented. And you know how very talented I think he is. He was so nice. It was such a pleasure and such an honor to meet a living legend. It was I'm still very, very happy and excited about it, just in case you couldn't tell. But moving back to the content of this video, the first book I want to talk about this week in Tynan Time is The Nice House on the Lake, issue number 4 of a 12-issue limited series from DC Comics. Here's the description. A terrifying truth about the house is revealed. David wants nothing more than to make his fellow residents of the house laugh. He's the comedian, right? That's what he does. But if no one's in the mood to laugh, then perhaps it's time for him to perform the other function of comedy, to tell his audience an unbelievable truth. Folks, this series is so good. And I'm not just saying that because of my best friend, James Tynan IV. I'm saying this because it's really, really good. I'll say it again. I read the first issue and I had no judgment other than I knew I liked James Tynan IV. And so let me check it out. And the first issue was so good and made me so excited to read the second issue. And then the second issue was so good and made me want to read the third issue. And then the third issue was so good, and now I'm stoked to read the fourth issue. The way it's building, the way the narrative keeps dropping all these little bits of information that just teases you to get more, to want to get more information. It's really well crafted. It's a really interesting story, and it's expertly told by James Tynion IV. And the art from Alvaro Martinez Bueno is also top notch. Ladies and gentlemen, you should be buying this book. The next book I want to talk about in Tynion Time this week is Batman, issue 112, once again also from DC Comics. Here's the description. A story over the year in the making and set into motion with Infinite Frontier number 0, Fear State begins. Batman played into the hands of the Scarecrow, who has unleashed a coordinated attack on Gotham City through his manipulation of Simon Saint and Peacekeeper 01. But there are other forces at work, with the emergence of an anti-Oracle spreading fake news across all channels, and inciting terror and violence on the streets of Gotham. In the backup story, Clown Hunter has turned down help from Batman, Leslie Tompkins, the Red Hood, and everyone else who has offered it to him, thinking that he can handle being a vigilante on the streets of Gotham City by himself. But when he takes a shot at fighting the Scarecrow one-on-one, he'll learn very quickly how much in this city he's not ready for yet. New hero, Peacekeeper X, or 10, not sure, but it says Peacekeeper X. Okay, I mean, once again, James Tynion IV, Batman, and this is his last story arc on Batman before he leaves the title forever, seemingly. So I imagine, and this is an event, and it's an event that seems pretty cool. I like the Scarecrow a lot. So I think this is going to be a storyline to pay attention to. It begins here. It says new hero. We're going to get more, apparently, of the anti-Oracle. There's a lot of things that Batman has going for it right now, and so I couldn't help but recommend it to you this week. All right, that'll wrap things up for Tynion Time. Let's move forward with some more honorable mentions. First, by taking a look at a new book called Dead Box, issue number 1 from Vault Comics. Here's the description. Welcome to the town of Lost Turkey, where the main source of entertainment is a cursed DVD machine that seems to know more about the fate of its citizens than they do. It's a comic book about a cursed DVD rental machine. This could be really stupid. And maybe it will be. But if you are if something about that, the silliness of that concept appeals to you, I wanted to put it on the list, just in case you wanted to know about it and might pick it up to check out. The next book I want to mention to you is Amazing Spider-Man number 73. This is from Marvel Comics. It says, we can't tell you a single thing that happens here without spoiling just about every issue that comes out between the time you're reading this and when ASM 73 comes out. All right, well, if you watched my last week video, you know I talked about Sinister War number 4 and how I recommended that book because we're leading up to a change. I don't want to do any spoilers, so I'm going to be vague. We're leading up to some changes in the Amazing Spider-Man title. And I believe those changes were likely set in motion by the final issue of Sinister War. They will continue in motion here with Spider-Man 73, and then they'll probably come to a head in the Spider-Man 74, which is this big 875th legacy issue, and the end of that creative team, and a new creative team is coming on with issue number 75. So there's a lot going on in the Amazing Spider-Man world right now. If you don't want to miss out on what appears to be some significant changes that are going to be taking place, I might recommend that you pick up this book. And my last honorable mention this week is a new book. It is called Maze Book, issue number 1 of a 5-issue limited series from Dark Horse Comics. Here's the description. From New York Times best-selling Eisner Award-winning Black Hammer creator Jeff Lemire comes this ambitious and haunting comic series about family, mourning, and reality. A lonely building inspector, still grieving the loss of his puzzle-loving daughter, receives a mysterious phone call one night from a girl claiming it's her and that she's trapped in the middle of a labyrinth. Convinced that this child is contacting him from beyond this world, he uses an unfinished maze from one of her journals and a map of the city to trace an intricate path through a different plane of reality on an intense and melancholy adventure that brings his daughter back home. All right, well, they might have kind of spoiled the ending there at the very end of this description, but regardless, this sounds like a cool and intriguing concept. In fact, it almost sounds like it could be a little bit overly complex and potentially even convoluted, but when you get an expert writer like Jeff Lemire in there to tell this type of story, you know that it's not going to be overly complicated or convoluted. So this sounds like it could be a fun, cool little story to read, something that might be worth checking out. It's, once again, as I say on these limited series, it's only 5 issues. Pick up the first issue. If you like it, read all 5. If you don't like it, slip it into the PC and hope that maybe someday they turn it into a movie or something else. But this does sound interesting to me. I might recommend you consider checking it out. All right, that takes us to the book that I would buy this week if I could buy just one book. And that book would be Last Flight Out, issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series from Dark Horse Comics. Here's the description. With Earth rendered uninhabitable, humanity has chosen to evacuate to the stars. But with just 24 hours left until the last ark designed to evacuate Earth's residents leaves forever, its designer is strange. Okay. Let's back up. But with just 24 hours left until the last ark designed to evacuate Earth's residents leaves forever, its designer's estranged daughter goes missing. Mark Guggenheim and Eduardo Ferrigato tell the story of an absentee father trying to make amends with his daughter during the end of the world. A thrilling new comics series by renowned writer Mark Guggenheim. So, my horrific reading of that description aside, this sounds pretty interesting to me. It's another story of, just like the last book that I mentioned, the Maze book, it's another story of a father looking for their daughter, trying to rescue them. So these last 2 books were very similar, but this one to me, in the previous one, he thinks his daughter's dead, but in this one, and so those are high stakes, and you want to try to save her from that. But in this one, she's going to die unless he finds her and rescues her and gets her on this ship to leave the planet. So those are a little bit higher stakes to me. I kind of like the cosmic aspect of it. I like, the end of the earth, the higher stakes of it. So this one just sounds interesting to me. I think that you could try Last Flight Out. You could also try Maze Book. I don't think you're probably going to go wrong with either of them. But I don't know. Something about this cover, what it evokes with that little girl looking out over the city, standing on the dock of that ship. Something about just, once again, the end of the world and the desperation of the person who, probably should have been on the first flight out, actually waiting until the last flight out, and now he has to find his daughter before it leaves and they all die. It sounds pretty cool to me. So I'm interested in it. I added it to my poll. I'm going to check it out. I may add Maze Book to my poll as well. Actually, the more I talk about them, the more I think about maybe just going ahead and picking that up as well. But I added Last Flight Out weeks ago, pre-FOC, so I'm excited about this book. And I wanted to mention it to you, and it is my just one book pick for this week. All right, that's this video. I hope you like this list. I hope you appreciate this information. Likes are appreciated by me if you do, so I invite you to hit the like button. If you hit the dislike button, that's fine. I don't mind if you hit the dislike button, but please leave down in the comments, tell me why you hit the dislike button. I'm more than open to feedback, both negative and positive. So if you hit that dislike button, don't just hit it and go away. Put a comment down and tell me why you hit the dislike button. I'm always happy to try to improve these videos. In addition, if you aren't already subscribed, I invite you to subscribe, but make sure you hit the notification bell. I'm putting out a decent amount of kind of random videos that I really think are worth checking out, so you won't want to miss them, and the notification bell will help you to not miss them. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.